Hello, hello. So I've never done it like this before, but I printed out a map of the journey from Moscow, Idaho to Albrightsville, Pennsylvania, where he was arrested. He is in Brian was arrested. So this top line up here is an airplane line, but this blue one and this gray one are both connected through highways, just for reference. I'm going to try and see if we can find this knife, because I definitely don't think he's going to be telling where it is, unless he's planted it somewhere else that it's convenient for him to tell, such as someone else's house or something. I really don't see him divulging this information freely. So you're gonna have to bear with me on this one. It might be a little bit slower paced than my other readings, because figuring out directions is harder. You have to pull 4 or 5 cards for like each step of the trip. So that's what we're going to do. So if we start at King Road in Moscow, Idaho, make a card for north, south, east, and west. North is the Empress reversed. South is Justice. 4 of Pentacles reversed. North, south, what did I say? North, south, east. So that'd be east. And west. Queen of Swords. So we have the Empress reversed for north. The 4 of Pentacles reversed for east. Justice upright for south. Queen of Swords upright for west. I would say he went south to go east. Obviously, he went east, but I'm saying I don't know if he necessarily went back home to Washington before going to wherever he put the knife, per se. I'm not thinking that in terms of putting the knife wherever the knife is now. I don't think he went back towards Washington. I think he went southeast, which would put him more on this bottom highway track, most likely, as opposed to this higher one, which requires you to go north first. So if he was going south, Idaho ends right there. So I want a card for Utah, a card for Wyoming. Should I do Montana? Let's just do Montana just to be safe. So Montana, Wyoming, and Utah. Montana is 2 of Pentacles in reverse. Two of Cups in reverse for Wyoming. Chariot reversed for Utah. I think he took this way right here. How it goes, like, it goes slightly into Utah, just like a little bit, and then back over into Wyoming. I think that that's the general direction that he was heading. Okay, so now that I know that, in terms of the knife, did the knife leave Idaho? Seven of Wands reversed. Queen of Cups. Did the knife leave Idaho? Huh. Yeah. Because Queen of Cups would be about like flowing and having some kind of like emotional attachment to it, not wanting to like leave it behind, I guess you could say. What is that? The Seven of Wands is like surrendering. Let me pull a clarifier. Five of Wands. So we're the Seven of Wands in reverse, which would be about giving something up. But then the Queen of Cups is an emotional attachment to it. Seven of Pentacles, long-term thinking ahead. That knife is in Idaho. So what I'm seeing is it's somewhere where he like a safekeeping, like this is tricky. I believe he does have an emotional connection to this weapon, and with the Seven of Pentacles here, it's making me feel like it is somewhere where he can go back and access it if he gets away with this. What were his thoughts about potentially driving cross-country with this knife? Three of Cups reversed and Six of Pentacles reversed. Yeah, the Three of Cups is solitude, so I don't think the knife was with him on this journey. And Six of Pentacles would be like, it's like in reverse, like having like strings attached. So it would be like, in terms of what he thought about driving cross country with it, we have the Three of Cups reversed, solitude, and then the Six of Pentacles reversed, which is not wanting that strings attached. So I don't feel like he thought it was the best idea to drive across country with the knife, which obviously, but it's also somewhere that he can go back because he does have that Queen of Cups emotional connection to it. And he had to give it up. He had to give it up, but I think that that's temporarily. I think he plans on, his ego is very big, and he plans on, if he's able to get far enough away from this, that he has it somewhere where he can go back and access it again. Obviously not from jail. In terms of driving across the country, I don't see him driving with it across the country. So if he went from King Road and went south, east, is the knife somewhere in Idaho between King Road and the border of Nevada/Utah? Three of Wands. It's about waiting for your ships to sail in. Yeah, I really think that he has it somewhere where he believes he can go back and get it. Ace of Wands reverse. Three of Wands is also like looking ahead, having foresight. Hold on one second. And the Ace of Wands is also like hesitancy, like, should I leave it here? Should I not leave it here? Should I bring it with me? Should I not bring it with me? I have this emotional attachment to it. I don't want to leave it behind, but I don't think it's a good idea to bring it on the road. Although I did say before that I thought it was kind of hidden at first in like a compartment in the back of his car, or the car that he was driving. So when he got, let's say, halfway across the country, what was his connection to this knife at that point? So let's say when he was passing through South Dakota or Nebraska, was that knife out of his possession? Five of Swords. Yeah, because he was intimidated of having to take it across and potentially getting stopped with a knife. Like if he ran into a checkpoint or something like that, like he was very much thinking ahead strength. Yeah, he felt like that would be a weak link to bring across the country in the car. I think that that knife is somewhere in between King Road and the Nevada-Utah border, because he went southeast. Let's see, how can I narrow this down more? Because he could have driven to Oregon, but that's more south or southwest. I'm feeling southeast. Does he have a connection to the place where he left the knife? The World. Yes, because the World's about a sense of belonging. It's not somewhere where there's going to be an obvious connection that the police would be like, oh, he frequents this place, so let's look into it. But there is some kind of connection. It could just be the Tower in reverse. Yeah, it's... Oh. It's somewhere where... I'm almost feeling like I wonder if he got an idea of where to hide a weapon from his survey that he did. That could be the connection. Like something that he... Like, for example, if he did that survey and had someone write to him, yeah, I did this and I hid the weapon here or in this type of location. That might be what he did as well, but maybe not the same location, because it could be someone from across the country, right? But it could be like the general environment in which someone else told them in that survey or something similar that they left their weapon or they left something. It's like he got an idea from somebody else. Because the World, I asked if he has a connection to the place, and the World symbolizes that he does, because that brings a sense of belonging, a sense of completion. So like this is something that he had previously planned. Like, if I do this, when I do this, whatever, this is where I'm going to leave the knife, or this is where I'm going to leave the evidence, or this is where I'm going to go to clean up. He had that planned. And I think, especially with the Tower in reverse, which is about like not reinventing the wheel in this case. So like getting advice from somebody else or getting a clue from somebody else and kind of using that to fit into his own puzzle. Is Brian going to give up the details of where this knife is? Page of Cups in reverse. No. No. It's the inner child card too. I really feel like there's something from childhood that like he's going to try and bring into this somehow. or maybe a connection that he's had since childhood. There's some element of that, but either way, I don't think the Page of Cups is like a blockage and emotional immaturity. While he's very smart and can read, like, he can understand people's emotions, but he doesn't relate to them, which is kind of typical of a narcissist or psycho or anything like that. But in his case, it does feel like hold on. 8 of Cups. Yeah. It's like he wants to take things that have been done by other people and redo them better. So it's almost like he hid this weapon somewhere where someone or a previous murderer, like he got the idea of where to hide it from somebody else and enacted that very quickly because he already had it planned going into the murders. But this is something like let's say a previous murderer hid something there and got caught, or hid something in a similar place and got caught. He's trying to do it better because he truly thinks he can. 10 of Pentacles in reverse and 4 of Wands upright. Maybe he really did plant this. No. It's almost like he planted it somewhere. It's almost like he planted it somewhere that if he went down for this, he could be like, oh, it's here, and it would set up somebody else for it. But then the video came out of his car. Trying to figure out more information about where the knife is located. Power supply and lies. It says, I must not tell lies, I must not tell lies, I must not tell lies. Power supply. Death. Healing, but look, that also looks like a light, like a power spark. Water supply. Is there a water supply next to a power supply somewhere? An abandoned or not used power supply place? War. Oh, the flag. Huh. Yeah, it's something to do with a power supply. A power supply that's right near a water supply, but the power supply is not on or not working or active or something. Breakup. This is a card that we had from one of the previous readings. And in this instance, it could represent breakup, like leaving it there, going your separate ways, especially if you had an emotional connection to this knife. Gift. He said he had emotional connection to the knife. This is his prized possession. He left it somewhere where he could go back and get it. He didn't want to take it across the country because he realized that that was too big of a risk. He put it somewhere where I wonder if it has somebody else's fingerprints on it. If somehow he got someone else's fingerprints on it. Maybe before the murder. Maybe he was like, hey man, check out this knife, hold this. And then when he held it, he put gloves on. It could be something like that. And then like, if he's really going to be pushed into a corner where he's going to go down, he could be like, oh, so-and-so told me this is where the knife is. So why don't you go look, and it's going to have his fingerprints on it. I'm not saying that's exactly what it is, but we got power supply, but then this healing card that makes me feel like the power supply needs healing, like it's not on, it's off. And then the water supply, which we've gotten a couple other times. And then we have death, which confirms this. And then we got the flag, which represents like, I'm thinking like golf when you put the flag on the hole. And then breakup would be how I said he has an emotional attachment to this knife, but had to leave it behind because he didn't want to drive across country with it. But it's still a prized possession for him. So he wants to have it somewhere where he can go back and get it. Would there be a power supply? And the lies. Oh, I will not tell lies. I really wonder if he somehow got somebody else's fingerprints on this knife. And it's just waiting for the right time to play that card. It would be like if he had the knife. Remember my other reading, I said he ran into someone else or talked to someone else while he had the knife on his person, but before it was used? No, because I feel like that person, when it came forward and said, oh, this person made me hold a knife that night. It could have been it could have been. I'm not sure, but I feel like it's at least possible that he thought about this beforehand, got someone else's fingerprints on that knife, and then didn't touch it without gloves, so that those would be the fingerprints on the knife. That knife is somewhere where he can go back and retrieve it. I'm feeling like it's a shutdown power supply plant that has like a shallow body of water. Maybe it's not like a natural source of water. Maybe it's like a pond or something that's like man-made. It would be near a power supply place. Let me see what else I can get about that. The star. Okay. So now how do we narrow this down? Let me think 1 second. I'm going to take it in 20-mile increments from King Road. So we're going to start at King Road, go southeast. And I want a card for the first 20 miles from King Road southeast, then the second 20 miles from that point to further southeast, and then another one. So we're going to do 20, 40, and 60 miles away from King Road in the direction of southeast. First 20 miles, High Priestess. Second 20 miles, Page of Swords. Third is 10 of Cups reversed. So the first 20, so then it'd be 20 to 40. It's, I believe, my opinion, 20 to 40 miles southeast of King Road. There's a power supply plant that's shut down. either shut down or very minimally visited or something. Like maybe not a lot of staff. Maybe there's just one person that goes in and checks, or maybe it's completely shut down. I'm not sure. It's a power supply plant. But it's in a, I'm feeling like it's a man-made body of water now. A man-made body of water that's near there. He's very smart, and he did something as like a fail-safe. Like he thought he was too smart to get caught, but he also was looking at it as the perspective of, I'm not gonna be able to get away with this, so what happens when I go down? How can I get out of it? Even though he thought he wasn't gonna get caught. Like he was entertaining both sides of, am I gonna get caught? Am I not gonna get caught? And fully prepared for either way. So the High Priestess would be the first 20 miles. So I don't think it's in the first 20 miles. I would say from 20 to 40 miles southeast of King Road in Idaho. We'd be looking for a power plant with a rather small water supply. It's somewhere where he really, he knows that no one goes there frequently. He knows that no one's going to find it, but that if he goes back to get it, it still would be there, even if it was a long time from now. In my previous dream, I saw the mountains. I'd be curious to know if there's a power plant with a small water supply that's shut down about 20 to 40 miles away from King Road in a southeast direction that has the view of the mountains. Yeah, because the 10 of Cups is that 40 to 60 mile range, and that's about like disconnection. So it would be like he left it and then disconnected to go over to his family, or to go back to school and whatever it was, to play normal for a little bit before he goes to his family. It's about disconnection. So I don't think it was in that last segment. I think it was in that second segment of 20 to 40 miles southeast of King Road. Two cards to give me any information about what could possibly be 20 to 40 miles southeast of King Road at a power supply plant. 9 of Pentacles in reverse. It's about being guarded. Yeah. It's somewhere where he can go back and get it. And then 9 of Pentacles in reverse is also like living beyond your means. So in this case, it's like thinking that he was going to actually get away with this to have the opportunity to go back and get it. 6 of Swords. Leaving something behind in the water. And it's a sword. I can tell you that he didn't want to leave it behind. I almost feel like he went somewhere with it to put it there, and then was like in that moment questioning, should I just bring it? Maybe I should just bring it with me. I'll just bring it with me. And then he talked himself out of it because his previous plans that were well thought out and not in the moment were, you got to leave it behind. That's why he already had this planned as to where to go. So just for clarification, this knife is not in Albright or the surrounding area of Pennsylvania. Hangman. Yeah, no, it's not. It's about surrender. He already surrendered it. It's also like, so I said it's not in Albrightsville or anywhere around there in Pennsylvania. And we have the Hangman, which is like uncertainty. So it's like while he was there, he felt that disconnection and the uncertainty of, you know, is someone going to be able to find it? Did I make the right move by leaving it there? I'm honestly feeling like he was more worried about this knife than he was the victims. There's like a deep, sick connection to this knife, which I know we already knew, but like, hold on. Has he used this knife for anything else? King of Cups. That's the emotional connection that he has to the knife. The Emperor. Power and control. The Moon in reverse. No, I would say that it's almost like the buildup of like anticipating using the knife is that deep bond that he has with it. Like, it's not that it's done something before to anyone else. I don't believe it, as in that knife with him. But there is that deep emotional connection to it. And I think that that's because he's been imagining doing this for so long with this knife. Even if he didn't have the knife for that long, again, it's like the pieces falling into place. So he knew what he wanted to do with a knife and then found the perfect knife and was like, this is it. Just like he knew what he wanted to do with committing a crime, found the victims that fit into that, and he was like, this is it. Oh, wow. The Moon also has like, that kind of looks like power plants. Well, it looks like kind of the power plant in that photo. Even the sky kind of looks the same. And there's our water supply right there. And there's the mountains in the background. And if you look, it's like little reflections from the moon, like, or the stars sparkling in the water. And then we had the star, which represented that that's where it was, like a confirmation. I can't find it. It's almost like the knife is shining in the water. And this doesn't look to me like very deep water here. It looks like more of like a moat. So it kind of fits in with a man-made water source that's not incredibly deep. Somewhere that he could secure the knife and be able to go back and find it later. And also somewhere that it wouldn't be on his person or in his vehicle as he traveled across country and even at home. Because if it was with him in Pennsylvania, I think they would have found it by now, especially if they've been following him for some time. Because if they're following him and surveilling him, I'm sure that they have video footage of what he's been up to even before they had eyes on him. I don't think that knife left Idaho. What kind of confirmation can we get? I'm going to do 2 from this side, 2 from that side, and then we're done. I'm going to do another video, but this knife thing was just like really getting to me. So I wanted to try and I'm going to look around on Google Maps and see if I can find a location that fits into what I've said. Royalty, but it was in reverse. God, but it's in reverse. This man has a God complex. I said that. Royalty in reverse. And this also has the mountains, and that also has the mountains, and they're both in reverse. I don't know how, but this man intends to bring someone else down for this crime. And I think it has everything to do with that knife. Jealousy. Affair in reverse. I said, what else can we know about the knife? Royalty and God reversed. Jealousy and affair. I can't explain it, but I really feel like he has some kind of intention to get someone else to be the one who's either get someone else to be found guilty or use somebody else to separate himself from the repercussions of this. I'm going to pull two more. I want a confirmation for jealousy. Bioweapon. I said power plant. It says aliens, but there's two people in the car. Oh. Two people in the car. You're going to take somebody else down. Somebody else's fingerprints are on that knife. And that person wouldn't be able to then turn him in, because if they turn him in, they'd be like, oh, well, just so you know, I think he did it, but I touched that knife, but it's not me. So it's like that. Is he planning on setting somebody else up, or did he already plant something that he believes is going to manifest into him getting out of this? Bioweapon with a mask. Six of Cups reverse. Yes, that's being stuck in the past, clinging to somebody else, like, oh, don't let me drown by myself, you're coming with me. Someone from his past. Eight of Wands, fast communication. Yes. It's also like moving very fast, yeah. So to summarize, because I'm going to wrap this part up for now. This is my opinion through reading the energy. I believe he traveled southeast of King Road after the murders. I believe that that knife is somewhere at an abandoned power plant, or like, it could be like a power tower, but we're looking for something like that where there's a water supply near it that is likely a man-made source of water that's not overly deep. It's somehow secured so that he can go back and get it in an area that others don't frequent. So if it was some kind of shut down power plant, if he knows there's no cameras or knows how to get around the cameras, and also knows nobody's been going over there because no one's going to go down near a closed power plant. I believe he thought it was too risky to drive with this knife, but also desperately did not want to leave it behind because of the emotional connection to it. But I don't think it traveled across the country with him. I do think he intended or intends to go back and retrieve said knife if he has the opportunity to. But I also think there's a good possibility that maybe somebody else's fingerprints are on this knife, or maybe he planted some seed somewhere that's going to lead to reasonable doubt or something along those lines with the jury. I don't know particularly what it is, but that's the energy that I'm getting. He thinks that he's 5 steps ahead, even now, sitting in jail. He thinks he's 5 steps ahead. Let me pull a card for that. King of Swords reversed. It's a card that's been representing him. Dictator energy, controlling energy. He thinks he's in control. He thinks he still has control of this. He's sitting in a jail cell knowing that he could be facing the death penalty, I believe. And somehow he still thinks he's getting out of this. I am going to look on Google Earth and see if I can perhaps find a location that fits what I'm saying. Maybe someone can go there and check. I don't know how you would check. I don't know. I'm going to try and see what I can do, but that's what I'm getting. I don't believe it traveled across the country with him. I'm like being drawn, crap, where'd it go? To like this area right here. See how this highway connects this way, and it also connects this way? Because to go back to Washington, he would need to go this way. But if he first went southeast, it could have been somewhere in here in that 20 to 40 mile range away from there, like in this direction. And then he could have hopped on the highway back up. I don't know. I'm going to look into it a little bit more and see if I can try and find a location. Yeah, have a good day. Happy New Year's Eve, everyone.